Thanks for tuning in to Red Belt Radio. The following episode is scheduled for one fall. I'm Jason, and this show is dedicated to World Wonder Ring Stardom. Today I'm covering the Dream Tag Festival event, which took place on September 10th, 2023. This card was comprised of tag team matches exclusively and featured unconventional pairings, to say the least. Stardom's Dream Tag Festival showcased many unlikely alliances and ended with a surprising number of character developments for us to follow from here. But the question I'm left asking myself is, how? How did Stardom make a night of tag matches, more tag matches, and nothing but tag matches actually work? How was I not burned out by the repeating of the same basic premise, since I sometimes can get burned out by a standard tag formula? Let's find out as we review the Dream Tag Festival piece by piece. If you find these transmissions valuable, please give this a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to let me know what you think. What I appreciated right away was the unexpected match order for the night. It would be very easy to picture the tag team champions themselves, Saori Ano and Natsupoi, headlining a show that is all about tag teams. Not at all. They emerged first, taking on two faction leaders no less, in Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa. The placement of this match immediately telegraphed that tonight would not be that easy to predict. We also saw one of our first tropes here, one that would be repeated in other contests as well. I'm talking about the internal conflict that kept certain duos from actually functioning as a strategic whole. Having this in place already helped this showdown feel less like a typical tag team affair. I quite enjoyed the flashy roll-up used by Tam Nakano to secure her team's victory over Natsupoi. The moments utilized in this match might carry over to their upcoming showdown on the 5-star GP final night. Another method used by the wrestlers to set themselves apart from the rest of the night came via the high number of post-match promos that took place. There was a bittersweet quality to some of these promos, tapping into nostalgia, but also reminding us that we might not be able to actually return to the past. The exchange between Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa was no exception. Mina being dragged into a Cosmic Angels dance, yet still harboring a desire to be Tam's rival, left me wondering what actually might develop from this. Club Venus has a lack of personnel and might even be diminishing further. So, do they bring on hired guns or become absorbed by another faction? If you think you know the answer, let me know. The return of Mai Sakurai actually felt great. Her work alongside Mirai, as the two took on sisters Rina and Hina, started off very strong with a pseudo-hostage situation at either side of the ring. This was a nice creative touch, which gave this match a feeling of individuality right away. Mai Sakurai showcased more strikes than I think I've seen from her. Combinations and kicks. She's diversifying her work, which reached its apex with her special move, wrapping up Rina like a pretzel and using her as a human chair to sit on. A great physical representation of her ladyship character theme. This move is being built up as potentially inescapable. Rina could not unpretzel herself, which made for an entertaining promo from Mai Sakurai afterwards. The big reveal during this promo was that Mai Sakurai and Mirai are planning to compete in the Goddess tournament as tag partners. A very good idea as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot more on the bone here than there has been historically with Mirai's typical New Era's content. A very entertaining and unexpected moment came during Hanan and Mariah May's entrance as the two ended up cosplaying as each other for their match with Momo Kogo and Momo Watanabe. I rather liked how this match played out since Momo Watanabe couldn't care less about her partner and treated the match as if it were actually a fatal four-way of sorts, rather than an actual tag competition. With all of the antics and comedy on display, it was weirdly refreshing to have the match end in a brutal disqualification, one in which not even the referee was safe from Momo's baseball bat. Ending this match with an unsatisfying DQ helped it stand out in its own way from the others. I didn't quite get the gist of Momo Watanabe's promo at the end, but she seems to have her eyes set on challenging Mirai for the white belt. Yes, that would be a great match, but I'm not a fan of it actually happening. Momo is unlikely to win, and I don't see it doing much for either character in the big picture. The white belt has a lot of possible newer challengers. I don't think we need to sacrifice Watanabe on that altar yet again. To be perfectly honest, Natsuko Tora and Hazuki versus Nanae Takahashi and Ruaka is a match I don't have a lot to say about, but I'm starting to develop a bit of a gripe. Is anyone at all going to just be allowed to use the blinding mist? It was starting to become definitively Natsuko Tora's thing, but she's been countered by GP opponents using it. And earlier in the year, we saw Saya Kamitani use it against Mina Shirakawa, and now Hazuki can use it. How many people are going to get to use this mist until it stops being interesting at all? I'm just worried about the mist market being oversaturated, that's all. Julia and Suzu Suzuki versus Utami Hayashishita and Maika. There's almost too much star power for the ring to contain with a battle like this. And I definitely think there's more to explore between almost any combination of these four. I felt like Maika was taking the majority of the beatings here, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I realized that there were a lot of moving parts here, and strangely, not too much could be given away. There is the upcoming Artist Belt Contest. When is that happening, by the way? In which Maika and Suzu will once again be teammates. There is also the first ever one-on-one between Julia and Utami Hayashishita during the GP finals, and if Suzu Suzuki hasn't been eliminated yet, there is still something of a chance that she meets Maika in the championship match of the 5-star GP. A huge surprise occurred at the end of this match when Prominence arrived and started destroying everyone. By Prominence, I mean Risa Sera and Kurumi Hiragi, former Artists of Stardom champions and Triangle Derby winners. Tonight, they demolished their former partner Suzu and declared that they also plan on competing in the Goddess Tournament. Things are getting very interesting. Despite their recent conflicts, Maika and Julia helped carry Suzu out of the venue, teasing for the second weekend in a row that Suzu could have a future in DDM. The main event between arguably Stardom's greatest rivals, Azumi and Starlight Kid, and reunited enemies Mayu Iwatani and Saki Kashima made me very happy. Azumi and Starlight Kid had one of the best entrances of the night. And we shouldn't be surprised. They are so thoughtful in everything they do. Pre-match moments, in-ring moments, post-match moments. They are two of the absolute best in the world. I think a strong case can be made that Azumi is the best wrestler in the world. As far as this match goes, the creativity and pacing was really clicking, allowing Azumi and SLK to pull off some triumphant, coordinated spots. It seems that SLK may have compromised her ankle after a moonsault to the outside, but she performed the rest of the match without issue. Azumi getting the pin over Saki Kashima was great. Let's not forget that Saki took Azumi's belt in a triple threat match win over Fukigen Death, and I like that Stardom still regards Azumi as likely being the stronger of the two. How awesome that of all the wrestlers performing at Yokohama Budokan at this event, the two that got to close the show were Azumi and Starlight Kid. This is the first of what I hope are many redemptive moments for Kid to enjoy as we proceed from here. And is it just me, or would you not be surprised if SLK makes a full-on face turn after a little while? I have a lot of thoughts about this, but we're already a little late in the day for those. No one deserves to enjoy a show-closing triumph like this more than Azumi and SLK. They are geniuses at what they do, and the 5-star GP has not treated them all too kindly. They weren't able to get a main event for their high-speed title match earlier in the year, so in a way this feels like a kind of consolation prize. I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed it. We close again with the question, how? How did Stardom make a series of tag matches with no belts on the line, no specialty rules, no mystery opponents, and no tournament glory feel fresh, not repetitive, meaningful, memorable, and entertaining? They did it through the thoughtfulness and the talent of their roster, who work to set themselves apart in any way they can, and they did it through the strength of their characters, who continue to triumph, suffer, and evolve. Even in a dream, the story manages to go on. If you found this transmission valuable, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to Red Belt Radio.